Shalom and welcome to all my brothers and sisters. Isaiah chapter 9 verses 6 through 7 often is used by missionaries and Christians to prove the case for Jesus or Yeshua. The problem is that I have to be honest with you. If you're reading a Christian translation or a Messianic translation or any version with a New Testament, Greek scriptures, you're looking at and forgive me for saying this, but I must be honest with you, a perversion of the Hebrew Scriptures. We know that the church had their hands in the translation of our Bible within their Christian Bible. So when you read Isaiah chapter 9, verses 6 through 7, the very famous passage, and it's used to prove about what the Messiah will be and to prove his deity. So it not only is a supposed prophecy about the Messiah, but also is supposed to be proving that the Messiah is to be God himself. Now this is a very, very serious claim. Very serious. Now, Christians and Messianics and whatever belief that believe in that Greek scripture, most of them, the majority, believe that the Messiah is God himself. Now, if they are wrong, and they will admit this, if in fact the claim that the Messiah is not God and it's found to be untrue, then it's idolatry. It's a sin to worship a man. Complete idolatry. And every Christian and every Messianic will admit this. But yet this is what they do. They worship this man as God. So when we look at a Christian or Messianic spin on Isaiah chapter 9 verses 6 through 7, it will read something like this. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be on his shoulders, and his name shall be called Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace, and you know the rest. But first, I have to note one important thing. When you're reading the Messianic or Christian translation, it says shall be, future tense basically. Every translation has a little bit of a different way of spelling or pronouncing things, but it's basically teaching about a future being. When you're reading it from a Hebrew Tanakh, from the English, any Tanakh made by the Jewish people, actual Israelites, it does not read this way, because that's not what the Hebrew says. It speaks about past tense. It actually says, for a child was born to us, and a son was given, and the government was upon his shoulders, and his name was called Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace, and so on. So what's the problem here? The mistranslation of the Christian and Messianic Bibles to make it future tense was obvious. Now, who was called Mighty God in Tanakh? Who would have this name? Remember, every Hebrew name has a meaning. Malachi has the meaning, Yehovah is Elohim. God, the name of God is God. So every name means something, and a lot of them have to do with the name of God. That doesn't make them God. But in this passage, it's forced. It's plucked out of context and mistranslated to make it a future prophecy and to prove that this being, who will be the Messiah, will be God himself. And I just have to tell you that if you look at any Jewish Bible, it is not translated as a future prophecy. It's a past prophecy. Who was called Mighty God? Hezekiah. What does his name mean? You guessed it. Mighty God. Hezekiah. Mighty Yah. Mighty God. I hope this was helpful. Again, you don't have to believe what I say. You don't have to believe a word I say, because what I say does not matter. But check the Hebrew. Check an English translation of Tanakh, and that's exactly what you'll see.